Hello. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, LinkedIn. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. My name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the business plug. This is early, guys. This is early for me because you all know I don't really do business until afternoon. But this right here is going to be worth it because we are up and ready and wanting to tell you about some marvelous things. I have my guest, Dr. Rye, and I saw her thing said like the word, like the bread. So I've been using like the bread, Dr. Rye, like the bread. So we're going to talk to Dr. Rye in just a second. But before I get to that, let me tell you about what's going on in the LSMB camp, right? So if you want to be on the Business Plugs Mixer, that link is in the description where you're watching this video. Also, if you want to be a part, if you are a new or struggling business owner and you're like, I need some solutions, I need some peace, I need some sleep at night, I need some revenue in my business, then the next cohort, business cohort that gives you the business acumen to go with your sales acumen, right? It starts on May the 27th. Open enrollment is happening now. You can, $50 holds your seat. 12-week course, evidence-based, teaching you the business side of doing business. And the final thing is, I heard what you said, you nonprofits. You're saying, hey, Linda, my board's not working. So guess what? I have a 3-hour intensive board training session that's hot off the presses. If you need that, go to the getthebusiness.org, my website, and schedule a free discovery call. And let's talk about where you are and where you want to be. We can get you there. So all of that is done. I have done all the commercials. Now it is time for you to meet the beautiful Dr. Rye Harris. Good morning, Dr. Rye.
Good morning, Miss Linda. I'm so excited.
I'm excited for you. I am excited. First of all, let me say thank you for your yes, because I've entitled this the $1 Million Business Idea Series. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm bringing on successful people who are doing their thing in a very special way. And it's going to inspire other business owners to understand how you got to be who you are today, right? Absolutely. Because what we talk about is the two things that have been faithful are consistency and implementation, right?
Yeah.
And so tell us who Dr. Rye is.
Oh gosh. Well, I knew you were gonna ask that, and I was like, I feel like every time I get asked this question, I'm always like, where do they really want me to go with that? So I think a pertinent part for like this particular podcast, like this particular show, is I want to kind of tell you how I got into chiropractic, because I feel like most people look at me and they're like, why does this little black girl own a business? I mean, I can't tell you how many times, like, literally just yesterday I was at the practice and I told someone I was in 3rd grade when 9/11 happened, and they looked at me and they were like, my doctor's a baby. Like, you're a baby. And I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know how to answer that. Okay. So I, like, as far as I can remember, always wanted to be some kind of like service professional. Like, I wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer, or like, I never thought about owning my own business, but I wanted to be like some kind of service professional, because both of my parents have like very corporate jobs, and they were great and very secure. And I was like, and you look bored as all get out. And I was like, that's not my jam. Like, I can't get behind that.
I get that. I get this.
So they loved it. It was great for them. I was like, not so much for me.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to be a service professional. When I got to undergrad, I was like, okay, the science thing is pretty cool. Like, I really think pre-med is like the way I need to go. And so I did all the pre-med stuff, and I was applying to med school. And, you know, I was in the middle of the application process. Like, I had taken my MCAT. I was quite literally applying to schools. And as I was doing the applications, I was like, this doesn't fit. Like, something's off. Like, it doesn't feel right, you know? And I was like, this should be a dream time for me. Like, all of my friends were so excited. We're all like, where are you applying? Where are you applying? Oh, maybe we'll get into the same schools. And like, we were all so excited. And I was like, like, I'm trying. I'm really trying to drum up the excitement. And it just wasn't there. And so when I took a step back, I really realized that, like, my heart wasn't in the questions that they were asking me. The questions
Mm.
they were asking were not in tune to why I wanted to become a doctor. It wasn't in tune to why I wanted to serve people and why I wanted to help people through the healing process. And so that was when I kind of figured out that I was like, oh, it's not just like the process. Like allopathic medicine isn't for me. Like this isn't vibing with my soul. And so I continued through the application process though, because, you know, I'm in undergrad and I was like, what else am I going to do? I don't know what else to do. So I'm in the process. So I just kept going. And this is like late in my junior year. So, you know, like we're done with our MCAT. Most of our applications are in, like we're doing all this stuff. And, or early in my senior year, something like that. And, a representative from a chiropractic school came to our pre-med club. And so I was showing her around and I was like, oh, hey, so this is the room we're going to meet. And she was like, what are you planning on doing? And I was like, oh, I'm on some wait lists and like, I'm planning on going to med school. And she was like, oh, really? Like, where are you going? And I told her that I think I want to be a DO because they work with their hands and they really help people get to the root cause of what's going on. And she goes, honey, I hate to break it to you, but like, that's not really what they do anymore. And I was like, excuse me? Like, no, this is what I'm doing. Don't tell me this. Like, who are you, random lady? And she was like, honestly, it sounds like you want to be a chiropractor. You just don't know what a chiropractor is. And so like instantly, like most people, I vividly remember this day. I instantly got offended because I was like, lady, I don't even know what a chiropractor is. And then like, I went home and told my roommates expecting them to be disgusted. And they were like, I love my chiropractor. Like, I think that's a great idea. And I was like, ew, I don't want to be a chiropractor. I don't even know what chiropractors do. Like, it was really my ignorance that was causing this, like, this snafu that honestly changed the entire trajectory of my life, right?
Wow.
And so I eventually gave in to everyone being like, what is wrong with you? And so I started like looking into chiropractic and I was like, oh my God, this random lady that I met on a Wednesday was right. She was like, this is exactly like, at least from the book description, like was exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to help people heal from the inside out. I wanted to show them the healing potential of their bodies, their God-given innate healing potential. And I wanted to help them express that. And so literally when people asked me, like when we were in chiropractic school, people would ask how I got there. And I was like, I quite literally tripped and fell into it. Like I was just walking along one day and God was like, try again.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just going to move you this way. Like go that way. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep walking. Tripped
I love it.
right into a chiropractic school.
I love it
Now I'm
though.
here.
And now you're here.
Yeah.
And now you're here. And so you went to school. So why did you ever do like internship with other doctors or start out in a different place?
Yeah, so we shadowed before you had to go to school. I had to shadow multiple docs. So I shadowed different kinds of docs. Totally ironic because nothing like the way I practice today. So I shadowed some docs. I was like, I'm really interested in like orthopedics. So I think I'm going to go into chiropractic and I'm going to go into sports chiropractic. And I'm going to be like on the sidelines of the football fields because, you know, all 32 NFL teams have a team chiropractor.
Yes.
So I was like, cool, I'm gonna hop on the sidelines. Like, this is gonna be fantastic. And I was so excited about sports chiropractic. In fact, the school that I went to had like a double doctorate master's program because getting a doctorate wasn't enough. I thought I should also get a master's so I can specialize in sports because just getting a doctorate apparently is not enough. And so I was like all ready to go down the sports path because those are the people that I had shadowed and kind of where I thought my life was going. And then I got to school and really got sunk into and started visiting a lot of doctors that were serving families and that were transitioning the world from a much younger age. And so they were transitioning people's views of the world from a much younger age. And that's how I, once again, tripped and fell. Literally, when I tell people, like, my whole path was just ordained. I have no idea how I got here without God. And I tripped and fell into pediatric chiropractic. And that's where I landed. So then I started shadowing all kinds of pediatric chiropractors. And I was like, these are my people. This is
it. I love it. I love it. And so you specialize in pediatric chiropractic.
Mm-hmm. And so that has kind of developed. Now we essentially call our office the 3 Ps: preconception, prenatal, and pediatrics. So we start from basically it just kept getting sooner and sooner when we were like, how do we change the world? How do we change the body from the inside out? How do we help people develop the healthiest? And we were like, oh, we'll start adjusting them when they're kids. And then we were like, but then there's issues when they're in utero. So we're like, okay, we'll start adjusting mom when she's pregnant with the baby. And then it was like, but there's like genetic components and epigenetic components that come along with that. So we were like, okay, we'll start adjusting mom and dad before they conceive the baby. And we'll work on preconception and think about like, okay, how can we create the most healthy cells to create the most healthy babies? And so now preconception, prenatal, and pediatric chiropractic.
I love it. I love it. So, strategy, right? Strategy.
Yeah.
That's how you get there. Like it's doing the research, right? Doing your due diligence,
and
then figuring out how to be the best version of whatever you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you don't hear about prenatal chiropractic.
Yeah.
You don't hear about pediatric chiropractic.
Yeah.
And you hear about it as adults.
Yeah.
But then now you want to put a whole new layer, a whole new spin on. So not only are you in a non-traditional market, but they're doing non-traditional things.
Yeah. Because that was an interesting thing I learned from all of my business mentors is they were like, you can't serve everyone. So like we used to be a family office. When we first opened, I was like, I love everybody. Everybody needs chiropractic care. And then I found out that I am like really, my husband probably loves this, but it's hysterical. I'm really awkward around men. Like I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm just like, oh, I guess I should adjust you. So then I quickly found out that I was like, well, maybe my target demographic is just women. And then I found out that I was like, I'm just not that great with adults in general. I like kids. I like babies. Like I can talk to an adult like a mom, but like I connect with babies and I connect with kids. And so I was like, oh, well, the more I niche down, like the more specialized I got, the better my business became and the happier I became in business because I was doing what I loved every single day versus like kind of sort of doing what I loved, but also doing a lot of other frilly foo-foo.
Absolutely. And Louise joined us today. Is her birthday. So let me stop and say, Louise. Happy birthday, Louise. Happy birthday. Have a great birthday today.
Yes.
But yeah, so thank you. And thanks for joining us. So yeah, so you've niched down, and that's the thing, because I have business owners who are the gamut, right? They're doing everything. And I'll say, well, who is your client? And they'll say, Miss Linda, everybody.
Right.
Everybody. And so that's a common thing among business owners to think everybody wants your service. Everybody wants your product. Everybody wants your food. Everybody wants everything you have. Everybody wants it, right?
Yeah.
And that goes to that if I build it, they will come mentality that only works in that book. I mean, that movie with Kevin and not in real life, right?
Right.
So teaching business owners how to niche down and find the business that they're really designed to operate, right?
Yeah.
You know where your passion is.
Yeah.
And so you align your business model with something you enjoy doing already.
Yeah.
Like that's the sweet spot.
And I feel like that field of dreams thing does happen after you niche down, because like I can't tell you how often like I'm like, I see preconception, prenatal, pediatric, and then somebody goes, okay, but like this happened to my grandma and I really only trust you. So like, if it's just for me, like, can you see my grandma? And I'm like, of course I'll see your grandma. Like, of course I have the training. I'm going to see your grandma. But it's like, I'm not marketing to senior citizens. Like literally my ads are about newborns. And so it's like, I don't market to senior citizens, but are there senior citizens in my practice? Absolutely. Because once you niche down, people are like, no, we trust you, Dr. I. Like, so can you, like, they want to come. So like, are you going to let them come? And it's like,
of course. Sure. Right. And that's diversifying, right?
Yeah.
And even that is diversifying so that you have multiple streams of income, which is a whole nother story, right?
Right.
So developing those multiple streams. So understanding though, the whole part that I seem to have the biggest difficulty with business owners is the everything, is the marketing to everybody, right? Yeah. Even when the number says no, don't do that.
Yes.
But everybody, if they don't hear about me, they won't know to come by.
Yes.
But understanding who your true clients are enables you to like laser focus in
Mm-hmm.
on that specific audience so that
Mm-hmm.
your ads that you mentioned before
Mm-hmm.
have a target market
Yeah.
and people hearing them like, I need to go see Dr. Rai.
Yeah. Oh, my mentors and my coaches, we talk about, and I hear this all around in different businesses with like different names, but we call it our ideal client. So we
Yeah.
literally have an avatar. Like my whole marketing, my whole message, my whole website literally speaks to one person. Like
Yeah.
I have this made up avatar. I could put her name in my website because everything on my website is talking to her. As you can
Her.
imagine, she's a
I
female, but
love
like
it.
it's talking to her. And it's like, but are there people outside of her avatar that reach out of my website? Of course.
Yeah.
But like it's targeted so they feel like I am connected to them and they've never even met me because I am talking to her regardless of what's going on.
I love it. And so that tells me right off that you're speaking in a language that she understands.
Right. Right.
You're
Exactly.
using her words to
Exactly.
get her attention.
Yes.
And so
her
I
words.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Her inflections, her pictures, things that she cares about. Like sometimes people will say like, why do you have, I have a greenery wall in my office that has like a neon sign on it, you know, and it's all like very Instagrammy. I will tell you one thing. I am awful at social media. Like when I say awful, unless someone has tagged me in a post, I don't think I've posted anything on my personal social media since like December. Like I am terrible at social media. And so people are like, this is so funny. Like, why do you have an Instagram wall in your office? And I was like, because my avatar loves them some Instagram. And it's like, that's for them. Like,
that's a selfie. Exactly.
Like,
I love it. I love it. And so you're giving them a place to be them. You're giving them approval to come to your office and be yourself. You don't have to be different here.
Yeah,
I love
and they do. They take all their little Instagram. Like I have people that like pose in front of it. They're like, Dr. Rai, can you take this picture? And I'm like, you don't want me to do that. But like Jake will. Jake will take it for you. Because I was like, not my jam. I don't do socials. I don't know what's going on. But like they'll pose in front of it. I have little kids that are in there like selfieing it up. I mean, it is the cutest thing.
I love
but it's
it.
like that's not for me. Like that's for the avatar. I don't care anything about that. That's for them.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And that's the thing. So in this 12-week course that I teach, is underwritten by the Kauffman Foundation. And so it's evidence-based. But the first night, we talk everything about the business owner. We go really in deep, getting them to understand their learning skill, like how they learn and how they operate.
Yeah.
And so we go deep dives in there, and then we tell them all the questions, that people don't have when they start business. Like, how is this going to impact my family? Have I talked to my significant other? Do I have the money to get into this? When do we pull the plug? Like all those questions, right? All the questions that people don't ask.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the 12 weeks, we say nothing else about the business.
Yeah.
Because everything becomes the client, right? Everything, your business, a business that's well grown, is a business that is client focused.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And if you happen to be the same avatar as your client, then it's like, man, that's cool. Like then you get to benefit from your business as well. But like I have friends that own multiple very successful businesses, and it's like very rarely are they the person that they're trying to talk to. Very rarely. And it's like most of the time, like I wouldn't even go into I would kind of go into my own business, but my business is not tailored to me. Like it's tailored to other people.
Exactly.
Like, I have friends that are like, oh no, like I wouldn't even go into my business because that's not who I talk to. Like I have male chiropractors that are pediatric chiropractors as well. And they're like, my focus is on moms. We have a freaking coffee bar in our office with like herbal tea in it. And they're like, I don't drink herbal tea. Like I don't know what's going on here. They're like, I wouldn't walk into my office, but that's because it's not for me, Like
exactly.
it's all about the people you're serving, which is why we got into a service profession in the first place,
Exactly. I love that. And that's the thing with any business, it should be to serve. I think sometimes people go into business thinking self-centered.
Yeah.
As opposed to I am given the opportunity, the privilege to serve my community.
Yeah.
Like what a great place that is.
Absolutely.
That when your business becomes a service to the community, to your clients to, the world.
Yeah.
Like what an honor that is to have clients to come to you and
Yeah.
people that you're able to make, you're actually making their life better.
Right.
Like that is too. So you've been in
Yeah.
business how long now?
4 years. So our business story is actually really crazy. I feel like people keep telling me one day I need to like write a book or talk about this somewhere because it's bananas. Honestly, it's truly insane. So we opened our business in January. January 11th was our ribbon cutting, and January 14th of 2019 was our very first day in the office. I had my very first baby. I had my daughter January 5th of 2019. And then we opened.
Wow.
I had my ribbon cutting 6 days later, and then 3 days after that, we opened our office. So literally 9 days after I had my baby, I opened a business. Absolutely insane. Absolutely
I was like, woo, you're a strong woman.
I tell people like 10 out of 10 do not recommend. It was rough. It was very, very rough. And so we like, obviously businesses don't happen overnight. So I had been planning, I mean, I graduated in 2017, I opened in 2019. So I had been planning on opening this business for a very long time. And I think we really got like boots hitting the ground about 6 months, I would say, before we opened. 6 to 7 months is like when we really started, like I finalized my business plan. I started going to banks to get funding, and it was like really boots hitting the ground. And we were talking about resilience earlier, and it was like I had to go, like I physically walked into 15 banks before I found funding for my business. And it was like I could have easily given up after 5 or 10 or like literally 15.
Or 14.
Right. Yeah. I was like, that was so like it was so much work. But 15 banks before I finally found funding. And honestly, the bank that gave us funding wasn't even on my radar. It was another bank that I had went into, and the guy said, I really love your business plan. Our bank, get this. This is hilarious because most people think like, oh, I have a small business. Like it'll be super easy. They said, we work with small businesses, but we don't work with small businesses under $1 million that plan on like under $1 million in a revenue per year. So they were like, so I actually can't give you a loan unless you're asking for over $1 million. So we're going, like, I can refer you to some smaller banks. I was like, so you want to give people $1 million, but you don't want to give me like $100,000? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
I know.
And so he finally referred me to like a smaller bank, and so that we could work together. I love them. I'm so glad we got referred to them. But I didn't even have that bank on my radar. I literally got referred there by another bank. So yeah, 15 banks, 6 months of work, an entire office build out, lots of people on our books. And get this, so we had an entire, like, I think we had 55 appointments on the schedule before we opened. But I live we networked really, really well. And I don't want to say I live in a small town. I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So it's not like we're not super small.
You're mid-sized.
Right?
No, we're considered mid-sized.
Yeah, mid-sized, right? But we had networked so well that like people knew that we had just had a baby. So like literally of those 55 people, 0 came to their appointments. And so we quite literally, because they were just like, oh, you just had a baby, I just assumed you weren't open. Like, so we literally, when I tell you, Linda, we had to start all the way over. So we opened, like I say we, my husband also helped. We opened a business 11 days after we had a baby with ended up being 0 people on the books. So quite literally from scratch. Our daughter was born in a very traumatic birth. She actually had some brain and spinal cord issues. And so she was in the NICU for 3 weeks. I mean, it was literally like the most absolute crazy time in our lives. And like somehow we've made it to 4 years. So like literally every day we're grateful for it, because we're like, we could have totally went under like day one, like literally day one. We could have been like, oh, well, chalk it up. Like, I don't know what else to do from here.
Oh, wow. So yeah, when you say, oh, that was a crazy time. Yeah. So now you have the survival story. Now you can say how to survive after having a baby, opening a business 6 days later, like having no patients show up.
Yeah.
Like the whole, if it
Yeah.
could happen. The
Yeah.
whole Murphy's Law thing.
Oh, it was bananas. And then we looked back at the end of that year because I had felt like such a failure. Like I wasn't
Mm.
hitting the goals of my business plan. We had to take out more funding because obviously there were 0 people coming in. Like, oh my gosh, I felt like such a failure. And then I looked back at the end of that year when my husband was like, "You were amazing." And I was like, "No, I didn't hit my goals and I didn't do this." And he was like, "We still made 6 figures last year." In our
Which is
very first year of
perfect.
business,
That
when we
part right
were
there.
completely struggling, and we still made 6 figures. And I told you earlier, I was looking up, we're at over 700,000 in 4 years. Like that is insane
I
to me.
know it. But
Insane.
see,
Yeah.
I tell you, that's why so I told you in this season, I'm
Mhm.
being pulled. So, and
Mhm.
I'm just saying yes. I'm just
Yes.
saying all the yeses.
Yes.
And in this season, I am showing business owners how to get from the 0
Yeah.
to the $1 million, because everybody's like, I want to make $1 million. I got a $1 million business idea. But there
Mhm.
are so many hundreds of thousands
Oh my gosh. So
from that to
yeah.
from 0 to that.
Yeah.
And like the stories that get you there
Oh man. Oh man.
are all
We're
over the
nuts.
place.
Nuts. My husband and I were talking, his name is Jake. We were talking yesterday and we were just kind of like, we had hit like a rough month because you forget in business, like when things are really good, you can ask any entrepreneur, when things are really good, they're really good. And when they're bad, you're like,
They're really
I'm a
bad.
failure. Everything sucks. The world is ending. I don't know
Yes.
what's happening.
Yeah.
And
What
so,
in the world? My cash flow is no flow. What
yeah,
is it?
what's happening? So he is, wise well beyond his years, and so he was like, let's take a step back and let's think about like some of the good milestones we hit to put us in a better headspace. And I was like, why was I blessed with you? I don't understand. You're
But you
amazing.
need that though. You
Yes.
need that balance, and the fact that you're married to that is wonderful. It's
Yes.
wonderful
It's
because as an entrepreneur, you need that. You
yes.
need
Oh yeah.
somebody who can pull you back from the cliff.
Yes. Yes. Because I was ready to jump, Linda. I was like, this is awful. Everything's terrible. I don't know
This
what's
is gonna
going
be
on.
nothing for me.
Look, I told my entrepreneur friends and I talk about this all the time. I was like, I'm gonna go get a real job. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore.
I can't tell you the number of applications I've applied, knowing I'm not showing up. Girl,
Not doing a dang thing about it. Not doing a dang thing about it. But you're like, oh, I can't do this anymore. This is rough. It's rough. And so we were reminiscing on a really funny story where we were thinking about the very first day that someone paid in full for our services. And I kid you not, my husband asked them, "Are you sure? Like you really like you're just gonna give us money?" And they're like, "Well, yeah, that's kind of the point." But like we were so green. It was our 3rd month in business. We were like, wow, really? Like
this
there are
is
people
working.
out there that
It's
just
working. It's
just
working.
do that? Yeah, we were blown away. And then it was hilarious how much you grow, because then we were talking about how last year we had like 5 pay in fulls that were triple that amount. And so because we've like raised our prices since then and
Yeah,
done different
yeah.
things. And so we were just like, that is hysterical that we were like, are you sure? And now we're like, oh, you want to pay us 10 grand? Sure. Yep.
Absolutely. We got that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But it's a process, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it is a process, and in it, you're growing, you're learning, you're becoming a whole. Looking at your business today,
Mhm.
I would that it is not anywhere like it was 4 years ago.
Oh my gosh, not even close. When I tell you, Linda, and I think one thing that people really struggle with, so I hope that everyone that's listening and will listen really, really takes this to heart, is that when I tell you I've been through 6, at least, off the top of my head, 6 different business coaches, like hundreds. I can't even tell you how many random webinars I've watched, like just all of the information, and like not being able to categorize in the right spot or feeling like people weren't for me. I was like, no, you just got to keep searching, because I have like, when you find yourself, when you surround yourself with the mentors that are your people, when stuff is working, oh, it is a game changer. Because I mean, I was with a company that I was like, man, this is really great. And they were really amazing for that season and that startup season. And then once we got out of that startup season, and I told you I really wanted to niche down and I realized I wasn't happy, I was like, I need a different coach. Like, I need a coach that focuses on this. And so I was like, okay, but I'm like a really loyal person. So I was like, but what, I can't leave. Like what I can't
I
do
like
that.
you.
Yeah. Like,
You're my friend.
I can't leave. And I was like, or I can, like, I can still be friends with them. And I'm still friends with tons of people that I met there. And it's like, I can still be friends with them and say that like, this isn't what's best for my business at this moment.
Absolutely.
And so learning that pivot, and I can say like still 4 years in, I'm still not great at it. Like I still talk to people, and my own coach now had to tell me, because I we're expecting another little girl in August.
Aw,
My coach had to tell me, she was like, we're not coaching while you're pregnant. And I was like, really? I was like, I was gonna tell you that, but why do you think that? And she was like, no, you had a really traumatic birth. She was like, I want you to grow your family. Like, your business, like, we put in the work so that your business can, it could chill for a second.
Absolutely.
While you focus on growing your family. And I mean, it was literally in that moment that I was like, this is what it's like to be surrounded by your people. Like, people
Absolutely.
that understand you.
Absolutely.
I hope they're searching. I hope they're like, let me try LSMB. Let me try this. Let me try all the things. I like literally I went pulling up our QuickBooks because we were looking at my total. I was looking at like our continuing education line on there. And I was like, wow, we've spent a lot of money on people telling us what to do. But I was like, it's helpful. It works.
And it got you to where 700
exactly
in 4 years.
Exactly.
like, so not just attending those sessions, but actually implementing. Right? Again, consistency and implementation. Yes. Those are the secret sauce to scaling a business, to getting to that $1 million. Like, you're well on your way. The guy I talked to 2 days ago, Lamar, he has Marvelous Balloons in Nashville. Same thing. From 1 year, he went to under 100,000. To the second year, he went to over 300,000.
That's amazing. That's
great. He was like, Miss Linda. He's like, I'm afraid. I'm like, no, you're not. This is how it works, because he implemented strategies. He learned the numbers. He learned to rely on, to scale his business according to what the numbers says. Just like you're saying, you listen to what is it that we want to be. Like, we can't be everything to everybody. So what is it that we really truly want to be? Where is my heart? Where do I feel like I'm giving the service I want to give to the world? And you follow it. You follow it.
Yeah, you follow it to the pits, really. Because it's kind of hysterical. I mean, especially when you're in such a controversial service like we are, like there's this, chiropractic isn't totally mainstream. There are still people that look at me all the time and are like, you crack babies? That doesn't seem safe. And I was like, okay, first of all, I don't crack babies. Like, that's not how we adjust babies. There are no babies being cracked. But I mean, they still kind of look at me with like a cute little head tilt, like, well, that's cute that you have a business, but like, I don't really get it. And so, like, being in a controversial business, there are demons. There are a lot of demons. There are people constantly that are like, are you sure you want to do that? And then, like, I get in my own head and I'm like, maybe I should start more businesses just in case, like, just to have more. I can start more. And I was like, get out. Like, this is what I'm meant to do.
This is what you do. Yeah.
Love us,
And that's fine and good, because they are not your people.
Exactly.
Your people get you. They understand. Oh yeah, I need that. Yeah.
Yes. But like, I hope people hear that, because when you're in the trenches, when you're in that first month and no one's walking through the door, you're like, is this a problem? Am I the problem? Should I not be doing this? Like, before you have your people, you don't know that. And so I think it's really difficult for people to kind of trudge through that time, because they're like, I don't know, are these my people? Am I in the right spot? Like, should I be questioning this? And it took a lot of reassurance from my friends. It took a lot of reassurance from like my mentors and colleagues, being like, people need you. Like, they just don't know you, but they need you.
Yeah.
And like, but if you don't have that support, like, business is all about support. I mean, I'm a pediatric chiropractor, so I'm talking about villages and raising children, but like, it takes villages to raise a child, but it takes a village to help your business to survive.
It takes a bit. I always say it takes a village to raise your business.
Yeah.
It does. It does. A community, and you'll have those moments throughout time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as we wrap up here, parting ways, what would you like for the listeners of this podcast to think? to walk away from?
Oh man, uh, I got some really good ones. Okay, one thing. I really, really hope that if you have it in your heart that you think you might be an entrepreneur, because I don't think it's for everyone, but I think the people that are called to do this need to do it. So if you have it in your heart that you're like, I think I could run a business, we need more people like you, because there are so many people out here running businesses soulless. And I was like, we need more people who are like in the trenches and want to run their business because they love it. Number two, I think you can do it. That's another part. Like, I never wanted to own a business. I wanted to be a chiropractor. I plan on working at someone's office. Like, I don't know. I never thought about owning a business until the opportunity presented itself. And I was like, I can give it a shot. Why not? Like, why couldn't I do that? Why not me? And so once I figured that out, I was like, oh, this is game changing, and it's life changing. And like I just said, we were having our family meeting the other day and we were chatting, and I was like, I wouldn't change our life from the world. Like, I wouldn't change it for the world. It's difficult, and there are ups and downs, and there are good days and there are bad days, but at the end of the day, like, this is exactly what I want to do, and I'm glad that I get to do it. So I challenge you out there, if you're like, I want to start a business, I want this to be my only income, I'm over my 9 to 5, because I know so many people out here have a side hustle. It's like, dive all in. It takes work. Do the work. Like, go to 15 banks, go to 20 banks, go to 30 banks if that's what it takes. But like, find funding, figure out what it is you want to do, and like dive head first in and do it, because we need more people like you. We need your business. We need your service. We need your light in the world. I think that's it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, my name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the business plug. I just plugged you in to Dr. Rai at the Skyline Chiropractic. So follow her in the links that's in the build and the links that's in the description. And I'll see you on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Business Plugs Mixer. You all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.
Bye, friends.